The Hiligaynon language, often referred to as Ilonggo and also referred by its speakers as Visayan, is an Austronesian language spoken in the Philippines by about 9.1 million people, mainly in Western Visayas, Western Negros Island region and SOCCSKSARGEN, most of whom belong to the Visayan ethnic group, mainly the Hiligaynons. It is the second most widely spoken of the Visayan languages and is closely related to other Philippine languages. Hiligaynon is mainly concentrated in the provinces of Iloilo, Negros Occidental, Guimaras and Capiz, as well as in South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, and big portions of North Cotabato in Mindanao, but it is also spoken in the other neighbouring provinces, such as Antique and Aklan in Panay, Negros Oriental, Masbate, and Palawan. It is also spoken as a second language by Kinaray-a speakers in Antique, Aklanon, Malaynon speakers in Aklan, Capiznon speakers in Capiz, and Cebuano speakers in Negros Oriental. There are approximately 9,100,000 people in and out of the Philippines who are native speakers of Hiligaynon and an additional 5 million capable of speaking it with a substantial degree of proficiency. It is a member of the Visayan language family. The language is also often referred to as Ilonggo in Iloilo and Negros Occidental. Many argue, however, that this is an incorrect usage of the word Ilonggo. In precise usage, Ilonggo should be used only in relation to the ethno-linguistic group of native inhabitants of Iloilo and the culture associated with native Hiligaynon speakers in the place, including the dialect. The disagreement over the usage of Ilonggo to refer to the language extends to Philippine language specialists and native laypeople. It also has one of the largest native language-speaking population of the Philippines, despite not being taught and studied formally in schools and universities until 2012. Hiligaynon is given the ISO 639-2 letter code HIL, but has no ISO 639-12 letter code. History. Historical evidence from observations of early Spanish explorers in the archipelago shows that the nomenclature used to refer to this language had its origin among the people of the coasts, a people of the Iloilo, whom Loanwords called the Hiligaynons. In contrast, the Kinaray-a has been used by what the Spanish colonizers called Arias, which is most probably a Spanish misconception of the Hiligaynon words Araya, Araya, or the current and more popular version Kinaray-a. Classification. Dialects. Similar to many languages in the Philippines, very little research on dialectology has been done on Hiligaynon. Some of the widely recognized varieties of the language are standard or urban Hiligaynon, simply called Ilonggo, Bacolodnon Hiligaynon, Negros Hiligaynon, Guimaras Hiligaynon, and Mindanao Hiligaynon. Some native speakers also consider Kinaray-a and Capiznon as dialects of Hiligaynon. However, these have been classified by linguists as separate languages. Related languages. According to H. Otliber and other anthropologists, the term Visayan was first applied only to the people of Panay and to the settlements eastward in the island of Negros, and northward in the smaller islands, which now compose the province of Romblon. In fact, at the early part of Spanish colonialization of the Philippines, the Spaniards used the term Visayan only for these areas, while the people of Cebu, Bohol and Leyte were for a long time known only as Pintados. The name Visayan was later extended to these other islands because, as several of the early writers state, their languages are closely allied to the Visayan dialect of Panay. Writing system. Until the second half of the 20th century, Hiligaynon was widely written based on Spanish orthography consisting of 32 letters called ABECEDARIO. The core alphabet consists of 20 letters used for expressing consonants and vowels in Hiligaynon, each of which comes in an uppercase and lowercase variety. Alphabet additional symbols. The apostrophe and hyphen also appear in Hiligaynon writing, and might be considered letters. The hyphen, in particular, is used medially in some words to indicate the glottal stop sound no, when, gabi, evening, night. It is also used to indicate the point in a word where reduplication is present, adlaw, daily, every day, from adlaw, day, sun. However, the use of this means of marking reduplication is not always consistent, bird. In addition, some English letters may be used in borrowed words. Grammar. Determiners. Hiligaynon has three types of case markers: absolutive, ergative, and oblique. These types in turn are divided into personal, that have to do with names of people, and impersonal, that deal with everything else, and further into singular and plural types, though the plural impersonal case markers are just the singular impersonal case markers plus mga, a particle used to denote plurality in Hiligaynon. The articles sing and sing mga means the following noun is indefinite, while sang tells of a definite noun, like the use of a in English is opposed to the. However, it is not as common in modern speech, being replaced by sang. It appears in conservative translations of the Bible into Hiligaynon and in traditional formal speech. The plural personal case markers are not used very often, and not even by all speakers. Again, this is an example of a case marker that has fallen largely into disuse, but is still occasionally used when speaking a more traditional form of Hiligaynon, using less Spanish loanwords. The case markers do not determine which noun is the subject and which is the object. Rather, the affix of the verb determines this, though the ang-marked noun is always the topic. Personal pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns. In addition to this, there are two verbal ditics, kari, meaning come to speaker, and katu, meaning to go yonder. Copula. Hiligaynon lacks the marker of sentence inversion, I, of Tagalog, Filipino, or he, of Aklanon. Instead, sentences in SV form are written without any marker or copula. Examples: Si Maria ay maganda. Si Maria matahum. Si Maria guapa equals Maria is beautiful. Maria is beautiful. There is no direct translation for the English copula to be in Hiligaynon. However, the prefixes mangan and nangan may be used to mean will be and became, respectively. Example: Manami mangan mangaranon. It is nice to become rich. The Spanish copula estar has also become a part of the Hiligaynon lexicon. Its meaning and pronunciation have become corrupted. In Hiligaynon it is pronounced as estar and means to live. Location. Example: Negara star ako sa Tabuk-Suba. I live in Tabuk-Suba. Tabuk-Suba translates to other side of the river and is also a barangay in Yaro, Iloilo. Existential. To indicate the existence of an object, the word may is used. Example: May idoko, I have a dog. Hiligaynon linkers when an adjective modifies a noun. The link and are links the two. Example: Itim na ido, black dog. Sometimes, if the linker is preceded by a word that ends in a vowel, glottal stop of the letter N, it becomes acceptable to contract it into eng, as in Filipino. This is often used to make the words sound more poetic or to reduce the number of syllables. Sometimes the meaning may change, as in Mayo na aga and Mayong aga. The first meaning, good morning, while the other is the greeting for good morning. The linker kun is used if a number modifies a noun. Example: Anam ka ido 6 dogs. Interrogative words. The interrogative words of Hiligaynon are as follows: Dian, Sano, Sino, Nare, Kamusta, Ano, and Pila. Dian means where. Example: Dian ka nasabong. Where are you now? A derivation of Dian, Tagadian, is used to inquire the birthplace or hometown of the listener. Example: Tagadian ka. Where are you from? Sano means when. Example: Sanoina. When is that? Sino means who. Example: Sino imoabian. Who is your friend? Nara means why. Example, Nara hindi ka magkatu. Why won't you go? Kamusta means how, as in, how are you? Example, kamusta ang tindahan? How is the store? Ano means what. Example, ano ang imo ginabasa? What are you reading? A derivative of ano, pano, means how, as in, how do I do that? Example, pano ko makapili? How can I get home? A derivative of pano is pano ano, an archaic phrase which can be compared with kamusta. Example, pano ano ikaw? How art thou? Pila means how much, how many. Example, pila ang mapod sa imo? How many are with you? A derivative of pila, a pila, asks the numerical order of the person, as in, what place were you born in your family? Quote, this word is notoriously difficult to translate into English, as English has no equivalent. Example, a pila ka sa inyo pamilya? What place were you born into your family? A derivative of pila, tagpila, asks the monetary value of something, as in, how much is this beef? Example, tagpila ini nakan sang baka? How much is this beef? Verbs focus as it is essential for sentence structure and meaning. Focus is a key concept in Hiligaynon and other Philippine languages. In English, in order to emphasize a part of a sentence, variation in intonation is usually employed. The voice is stronger or louder on the part emphasized. For example, the man is stealing rice from the market for his sister. The man is stealing rice from the market for his sister. The man is stealing rice from the market for his sister. The man is stealing rice from the market for his sister. Furthermore, active and passive grammatical constructions can be used in English to place focus on the actor or object as the subject. The man stole the rice versus the rice was stolen by the man. In contrast, sentence focus in Philippine languages is built into the construction by grammatical elements. Focus is marked by verbal affixes and a special particle prior to the noun in focus. Consider the following Hiligaynon translations of the above sentences. Nagkakawat ang lalaki sang baga sa tinda para sa iyutod. Ginakawat sang lalaki ang baga sa tinda para sa iyutod. Ginakawat ang sang lalaki sang bagas ang tinda para sa iyutod. Ginakawat ang sang lalaki sang bagas sa tinda ang iyutod. Aspect. Mode summary reduplication. Hiligaynon, like other Philippine languages, employs reduplication, the repetition of a root of stem of a word or part of a word for grammatical or semantic purposes. Reduplication in Hiligaynon tends to be limited to roots instead of affixes, as the only inflectional or derivational morpheme that seems to reduplicate is pa. Root reduplication suggests non-perfectivenesses or non-telicity. Used with nouns, reduplication of roots indicate particulars which are not fully actualized members of the class. Note the following examples. Reduplication of verbal roots suggests a process lacking a focus or decisive goal. The following examples describe events which have no apparent end, in the sense of lacking purpose or completion. A lack of seriousness may also be implied. Similarly, reduplication can suggest a background process in the midst of a foreground activity, as shown in. When used with adjectival roots, non-telicity may suggest a gradualness of the quality, such as the comparison in. In comparative constructions, the final syllables of each occurrence of the reduplicated root are accented. If the stress of the second occurrence is shifted to the first syllable, then the reduplicated root suggests a superlative degree, as in. Note that superlatives can also be created through prefixation of pinaka to the root, as in pinakadako, while non-telicity can suggest augmentation, as shown in It can also indicate diminishment, as in shown in contrast with in ma-yo-a-yo, accented in the superlative pattern, suggests a trajectory of improvement that has not been fully achieved. In ma-yo-a-yo suggests a trajectory of decline when accented in the comparative pattern. The reduplicated ao implies suboptimal situations in both cases. Full goodness, wellness is not achieved. Sounds. Hiligaynnon has 16 consonants, ptkbdmnnshwlrj. There are 3 main vowels, a tilde I and o tilde, and are allophones, within the beginning and middle and sometimes final syllables and in final syllables. The vowels and are also allophones, with always being used when it is the beginning of a syllable, and always used when it ends a syllable. Consonants and were once allophones but cannot interchange as in other Philippine languages. Patawaran but not Patawadan, and Tagadian but not Tagarian. Loanwords. Hiligaynnon has a large number of words that derive from Spanish words, including nouns, adjectives, prepositions, and conjunctions. Moreover, Spanish provides the Ilonggo base for items introduced by Spain, e.g., barco, zapatos, cuchillo, cutsara, tenedor, plato, camiseta, and cambillo. Spanish verbs used in Hiligaynnon often remain unconjugated, which in Filipino would almost always be conjugated in the vos form, e.g., compra, manda, pasa, tena, dispona, mantna, and asistir. Examples. Numbers. Days of the week. The names of the days of the week are derived from the Spanish equivalents. Months of the year. The first set of Hiligaynnon names of the months are derived from Spanish. Quick phrases. Greetings, this, that, and whatnot. Space and time when buying the Lord's Prayer. May name in Nayara Kasarmga lang at Pagdayawan ang imonalan umabot sa raman ang emogent arian. Matumand ang imobodiri sa to siling sang sa lang at tatagan mo kami nayan singkanon naman sa matagadlo. Kagpatawaron mo kami sa mga sala naman siling na ginapatawad naman ang nakasala sa raman kagdali mo kami ipagpadok sa mga panule. Kinunuo luwasan mo kami sa kalaut. Amen. Translation of Catholic Version. 10 Commandments written in photo. 1. Believe in God and worship only Him. 2. Do not use the name of God without purpose. 3. Honor the day of the Lord. 4. Honor your father and mother. 5. Do not kill. 6. Do not pretend to be married against virginity. 7. Do not steal. 8. Do not lie. 9. Do not have desire for the wife of your fellow man. 10. Do not covet the riches of your fellow man. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights children's books. Ang bukid na nagpalanga sang pispis. Ang bukid na nagpalanga sang pispis is a fully illustrated, colored children's picture book. The original story is The Mountain That Loved a Bird by Alice McLaren. Originally published in the United States with illustrations by Eric Carle, the story has been translated to Hiligaynnon by Genevieve Asenjo and illustrated with new art by Bola Pedregas at Tagualo, drawn from the landscapes of the Philippines. The publisher is Mother Tongue Publishing Inc., a new publishing company based in Manila, Philippines, formed in November 2006 by Mario and Bola Tagualo. The mission is to publish books in as many languages as possible. They are inspired by the words of science fiction writer Ursula K. Le Guin. Literature takes shape and life in the body, in the wombs of the mother tongue. Quote, they also agree with neuroscientist Ilkon and Goldberg, who refers to mother tongues as an extremely adaptive and powerful device for modeling not only what is, but also what will be, what could be, and what we want and do not want to be. Noted Hiligaynon writers: Peter Solis Neri, prolific writer, poet, playwright, novelist, editor, Hari Sang Binalabe, and champion of the Hiligaynon language. Born in Dumangas, Iloilo. Antonio Ledesma Jamie, lawyer, revolutionary, provincial governor and assemblyman. Born in Yaro, lived in Bacolod City. Graciano Lopez Jarena, journalist, orator, and revolutionary from Iloilo, well known for his written works, La Solidaridad and Fray Botod. Born in Yaro, Flavio Zaragoza Huaycano, lawyer, journalist and the Prince of Visayan poets. Born in Janapan, Conrado Sakian Norada, lawyer, intelligence officer and governor of Iloilo from 1969 to 1986. Co-founder and editor of Yaro magazine. Born in Iloilo City, Ramon Muzones. Born in Molo. Magdalena Chilandoni, prolific writer, novelist and feminist. Born in Yaro. Angel Magam Sr., writer, editor and composer. Composed the classic Iloilo ang Banwiko, the unofficial song of Iloilo. Born in Molo. Valente Cristobal, noted Hiligaynon playwright. Born in Polo, Bulacan.